Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to knit two-stitch cables without using a cable needle. Most people find it a lot quicker and a lot easier to not have to use a cable needle to make such small cables. Two-stitch cables are where one stitch is passed over another stitch, and the stitch that's passed over dictates whether it's a left-leaning or a right-leaning cable. If the cable is a C2F or 1/1 LC cable, then that cable will travel to the left. Whereas if it's a C2B or 1/1 RC cable, then that will travel to the right. Basically, it all comes down to which stitch passes over the other one. As you can see, I've already done some knitting, and I've added a garter stitch border to help prevent the edges of the stockinette stitch from curling. I've already knit a few two-stitch cables, and I've placed them at the same points in the knitting, i.e. the same number of stitches from the edges, and stack them on top of each other. I've placed a stitch marker to show the right side or the front of the knitting, because we're always going to be making the cables on the right side rows. Now I'm just knitting 7 to get me up to the same point in the knitting as where I've previously done the cables. And now I'm going to do a C2F or cross to front cable, which can also be abbreviated as 1/1 LC or 1/1 left cross. Now one way you can do it is you can hold the next two stitches, like so, and slide them off the needle. Then you take your left hand needle in front of the second stitch and pick up the first stitch, and then pick up the second. So the first stitch has passed in front and the second stitch has passed behind. If you split the stitch like me, just make sure you rectify it. So all you've done here is swap the positions of the two stitches. And then you can just knit these two stitches as normal. And that's it, that's a C2F cable. As you can see, you've created a left cross. And now I'm just knitting 4 stitches, and then I'll do a C2B or cross to behind cable. This can also be abbreviated as 1/1 RC or 1/1 right cross. So again, you pinch the base of the next 2 stitches and slide them off the needle. Then take your left hand needle behind the second stitch, pick up the first, and then the second. This passes the first stitch behind and the second stitch in front. And then you can just knit these 2 stitches as normal. As you can see, the cable is travelling to the right. And then just knit to the end. On the next row, I knit 3, purl until I've only got 3 stitches left, and knit 3. And this will be the same pattern for every wrong side row in this video. Now you might notice that this method is slightly awkward, and it also risks you dropping the stitch. So I'm now going to show you an improved method. So I just knit up to the same point in the knitting again. And now I'm going to show you a C2F. So take your right hand needle behind the left hand needle and take it down through the back of the second stitch. Remember, we want that first stitch to be in front of the second. And then you're going to hold the base of the 2 stitches and slide them off the needle. This time though, make sure the second stitch stays on the right hand needle. Then take the left hand needle into the first stitch that's just hanging there. Then slip that stitch from the right hand needle back to the left hand needle without twisting it. And then just knit these 2 stitches. And now I'm just knitting 4 stitches and then I'll do another C2B. So for this, you take your right hand needle in front of the left hand needle and take it down through the front of the second stitch. Then slide the 2 stitches off the left hand needle, making sure the second stitch stays on the right hand needle. And then take the left hand needle into the stitch that's free. And then slip the stitch that's on the right hand needle back to the left hand needle without twisting it. And then just knit these 2 stitches. And that's the C2B completed. And then I just knit to the end. And here you can see the result. The first few cables here were made with a cable needle, and you can see that the examples made without a cable needle look just the same. This same concept can be used to knit cables without a cable needle that are 3 stitches wide or 4 stitches wide, or maybe even wider. But I personally would stick at 4 stitches wide or less. And that's it, that's how you make 2-stitch cables without using a cable needle. It's definitely worth getting the hang of this because it's so much quicker. I really hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.